Hello everyone. So in today's video, I will be talking about the short selling. Ever since the report of Hindenburg is out about the Adani Group and they have accused the Adani Group of short selling, this particular word short selling has been in very much in news. One thing that I would like to clarify is that I will not be going into too much of the details about the short selling. I will be just talking about the meaning of it and how does it work with a very simple example. So before diving too much into the short selling, we need to understand that in a normal scenario, how does the investment work? Suppose I am an investor and I have purchased 100 shares of a particular company and I have spent 500 rupees while purchasing those 100 shares. Now I wait till the time value of those shares goes to up to 1500 rupees and I sell those shares at 1500 rupees. Now I have a profit of 1000 rupees because I buy those shares at 500 and I sell those shares at the 1500. So what happens in the short selling is completely opposite of the previous kind of investment. So what happens, suppose I am an investor and I am doing short selling. What is going to happen here? First, I am going to sell the shares of 1500 rupees worth. This is just for the example. Now I wait till the time the value of the shares actually decreases. And when the value decreases up to 500 rupees, I purchase those shares in 500 rupees. And this 1000 rupees is my profit. So this is completely opposite. First, I sell at higher prices, then I purchase at the lower prices. This is called short selling. So how does short selling work? Let me give you a real life example. So there are three persons involved here. One is Ramesh, another is Suresh, and another is Mr. Popat. Mr. Popat owns a bike which is for the sale, and Mr. Suresh is going to do short selling here. So how does it work? Look, Mr. Suresh is going to tell Mr. Ramesh that Mr. Ramesh, I am going to give you this bike. I will get this bike for you in 5000 rupees, but there is a condition. If you give me 2000 rupees now, I will give you this bike in 5000 rupees. This is a good deal. So Mr. Ramesh is like, okay, that's totally okay for me. I'm going to give you 2000 rupees and I need this bike in 15 days. So this is how things are working. Now what will happen? Mr. Suresh does not own this bike. No, this bike is completely owned by Mr. Popat. But Mr. Suresh already sold this bike to Mr. Ramesh and Mr. Suresh does not own this bike. This is how magic works here. Mr. Suresh is going to negotiate with Mr. Popat and he is going to purchase this bike in 2000 rupees. Maybe he's purchasing or he's just borrowing that money or borrowing that bike from Mr. Popat in 2000 rupees. And with this bike is now going to be transferred to Mr. Ramesh. And Mr. Suresh is going to make a profit of 3000 rupees. Getting this point? So what is going to happen here? That bike was owned by Mr. Popat. Mr. Ramesh is actually giving advance to Mr. Suresh and Mr. Suresh is going to purchase that bike with that advance from the Mr. Popat and then that bike is going to be transferred to Mr. Ramesh and this is how Mr. Suresh is going to make a profit of 3000 rupees. You need to understand here that Mr. Suresh sold the bike that he does not own. He does not own that bike. That bike was still with Mr. Popat. Mr. Suresh borrows the money from the buyer in advance. This is how short selling is done by Mr. Suresh. Investors sell shares first and then they buy when prices go down. This is how short selling works. Let me give you a real life example here. This is the broker here. We can have different kind of brokers. We have Zerodha, we have Sher Khan, Angel Broker or something. Like we have a lot of brokers. Then we have an investor named Raju. Raju is going to borrow some shares from his broker. Let's say he borrows the 50 shares of Adani Group and price of his share is 1 lakh rupees. So he purchases or he borrows those 50 shares from his broker in worth of 50 lakh rupees and then he sells those shares further in the market. So this is how selling is happening first. But now Mr. Raju believes that value of the shares of the Adani Group is going to decline. Suppose now what happens, value of his share is 80,000 rupees, which was earlier 1 lakh rupees. And when value goes down, Mr. Raju is going to purchase those shares only in 40 lakh rupees. Why? Because value of the share has gone down to 80,000 rupees. Now Mr. Raju is going to return those shares to his broker. This is how things are happening here. So Raju first sells the shares in 50 lakh rupees, then he buys the same shares in 40 lakh rupees. So there is a complete profit of 10 lakh rupees. Selling happening first and purchasing happening later on. This is called short selling. So Raju made a profit of 10 lakh rupees and broker maintained his book. By the end of the day, when like this trading stops, this is usually happening in the intraday trading during the one day only. So 3:30 p.m. is the time when stock market stops. So maybe your investors are going to close the transaction like 3:10 or 3:20. During the day when market closes, your broker is going to maintain its book. On that book, there are still 100 shares. But sometimes what happens, suppose if the value of shares increases, still Raju must purchase those shares and return to the broker. Yes, there will be loss. That is going to happen, but this is how risk works in the share market. Suppose Raju is not ready to return those shares or return that money to the broker. Now, what is going to happen? Broker automatically buys shares from the investor's behalf. Money is automatically drawn from the account of the Raju if Raju does not agree. But what happens if there are no shares in the account of Raju? In that case, your broker is going to sell other shares that are in the account of the Raju. But this is how the things work in short selling. If the value decreases, Raju is going to make money. If value increases, Raju is going to be in the loss. This is how things are going to work. Is it illegal in India? No, this is not illegal because SEBI allows it. Yes, in many countries, short selling is not allowed, but in India, short selling is allowed. And this is how what is happening in the Adani Group. These are the accusations on the Adani Group by the Hindenburg. They are saying that Adani Group is doing short selling because the value of the shares is decreasing. They already know in the advance, and there are many brokers, there are many investors who are doing short selling. And while the value of the shares is decreasing, but those companies are still making huge profits because the value of the share are declining. In a simple line, you need to understand that short selling means you sell first and you buy later on. You just borrow. You sell those shares that you do not own. Later on, you return your shares to the broker. I hope you got the point. If you did not get the point clearly, you can watch this video again. And if you have some doubts about the short selling, you can comment in the comment section. We will definitely reply your comments. We will try to make the point clear. This is how, and this is completely for this video. Thank you very much. All the best. Jai Hind.